Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Let's rise to the pledge, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I understand this evening we're probably going to have a few people under public comment. Just to let you know, traditionally our public comment in the first half of our meeting is public comment directed to agenda items. We have some special presentations this evening. I'm going to hold public comment until we have our special presentations. Then I'll open it up to public comment, okay? So this evening we have a special presentation, which is our Student of the Month.
Absolutely. So why don't we start with Mr. Freer?
Test 1, 2. Mr. Freer.
Mr. Bon Jovi.
Okay, so this month I am very pleased to recognize one of our 5th grade students. Jude Van Cleek is with us this evening. He's been in our band for the last 2 years. He's an all-county member. He's been to NISMA this year, and he's always been very respectful and helpful with his teachers and his peers. He's helping others to be successful in the band program. He goes above and beyond. He has a great personality and a great sense of humor. So let's thank Jude Van Cleek for being a great role model for all of our elementary students. Please come on up.
Come on up, Jude.
Good evening and welcome. Our student of the month is Nelson Zhang. Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to be able to be here tonight, but we certainly still wanted to recognize what a great student he is. He was nominated by his French teacher, and that's interesting because this is actually his 4th language. He speaks English, he's learning French, speaks Mandarin, and also Funganese, which is a provincial dialect from China as well. So that in itself is a great accomplishment, but if you get to know Nelson, I'm just wondering if you might just pop in the door. If you get to know him by watching him interact with students at recess, which I supervise that, he's a pretty mean frisbee thrower, but he takes the time to teach all the rest of the kids that want to play how to throw the frisbee, which is just so fabulous that somebody who can do it that well will just stop and teach. He's also on the cross-country team, he's on the track team, and again, he's a great student. So our student month is Nelson Zhang.
Mr. Zimmer and Mr. Judge. You have a few people, I think.
We do.
Excellent.
Good evening. Highland High School is proud to announce 7 Students of the Month this month. I think they're unaware.
That's unheard of.
It is unheard of. It's unprecedented. So it's the students in our flex class. So as I call your name, if you could come up and stand next to me, and I'll say a few words about you. First, we have Jasmine Sullivan. Jasmine, come on up. Jasmine has been described as a student who is always kind to everyone. She puts others before herself and is always encouraging everyone to do their best. She strives to be successful in all areas and enjoys challenges. Congratulations, Jasmine.
Have him stay up. Yeah, have him stay. Yeah, Jasmine, you stay up here. Maybe Miss F, maybe you can help line him up.
Next up is Tyler McConnell. Tyler, James. Tyler has been described as the protector. He treats his classmates like family, is often heard saying, quote, "No one gets left behind" when going on school trips. He's a very inclusive student and he has demonstrated his husky pride throughout the year. Tyler has had an excellent transition into Highland High School and he has been a great addition to the class. Congratulations.
I know he's also a very good animator and comic book writer. Very good artist.
Mr. Judge and I have some of his original artwork in our office.
Yes, self-portrait.
Portraits of us.
Yes.
Next is Toby. Toby Marshall. Come on up, Toby. Toby, inquisitive, interested, brave, excited, and dedicated are all words to describe Toby. He never gives up and works extremely hard, pushing himself out of his comfort zone. He is kind to all his peers and demonstrates his love for learning on a daily basis. Toby enjoys having conversations with his peers and faculty on topics that he has learned about. Congratulations. Yes, he asked for a copy of my speech. Toby, I will give you a copy. You got it. Tomorrow. I'll give it to your mom so she can hang it up. You got it. Got it? Yeah. All right. Thanks. Hold on, I want to see your face. Okay, thanks. Ready? You got it? Yes, F, you got it.
We're doing a lot of stuff.
Excellent. Next, we have Katie Cruz. Katie, join us. Katie continues to show great improvement in all aspects of her learning. She takes her time when completing her work and always puts forth her best effort. She's extremely helpful to all her classmates and will assist those in need. She's caring, thoughtful, and observant of the feelings and needs of those around her. Congratulations, Katie. Next we have Jonah Super. Jonah. Jonah has been described as being a perfectionist. She takes her time to put forth her best work on all assignments, but is not afraid to seek help when it's needed. She consistently helps her peers and is known to brighten the room in school with her big smile. Her happiness and husky pride is infectious. She attends many school events and does so with excitement and enthusiasm. Congratulations, Jonah. Next we have Isabella Reed. Bella. Bella is an extremely hardworking student. She is kind, considerate, helpful, and caring. She enjoys cooperative learning experiences and helping others. Isabella has shown great growth in her ability to take on challenges and has improved her skills in multiple areas. She is a thoughtful student who comes to school every day, willing to work and learn. Congratulations, Bella. And last but not least, we have Eric Fernandez. Eric always has a smile on his face. He's extremely positive and optimistic. You will often find Eric cheering on his peers throughout the school in whatever activity they are doing. He has a can-do attitude toward all his tasks and challenges. He loves to talk about the great aspects of his school and community and engages in conversations with all students and faculty. So these are just a few of the reasons that
He's also a great dancer.
He certainly is.
loves the dance.
He certainly is. So these are just a few of the reasons that these 7 wonderful students are Highland High School students in the month of May 2019.
So they were also all a part of our Special Olympics team. They won multiple gold medals, and Toby and Jonah were also both won the male and female athletes of the year, and our very own Coach Cooper won Coach of the Year. So it was fantastic.
Ms. Fellow is going to share a PowerPoint with us about the Special Olympics.
Thank you. I wanted to share some pictures that we had from some of our events that we've been doing. So we have our Highland Huskies Olympic team, and we also have Eva, who's one of our younger members who's also on our Special Olympics team this year. This is her first year as well. So we start off with our Hero for Heroes police event, where the Special Olympic athletes pair up with a police officer for an obstacle course that we've created that has the Special Olympic events in it. So all of the athletes and their officer have to successfully make it through the event. And we have a parade where they meet the officers, and we even got to arrest Mr. Judge for in the back of one of the cop cars to see one of the pictures on there. At our Hero for Heroes event, Miss Moore's husband brought his tractor trailer with him, and the kids got to go through and see what it's about, one of our community helpers' careers out there. Every Saturday, the students had their Special Olympic practices, and I have to say, I don't think a single one of them missed a practice unless they were extremely sick. So I want to thank you guys for always making sure you're at practice and doing your best. We also, Mr. Geller always would come and help out, and Miss Moore. So we have some great pictures. This was the Special Olympics of this year. We got to lead the lighting of the torch parade. During the opening ceremonies, we were lucky, and we had Toby was Male Athlete of the Year this year, Jonah Super was Female Athlete of the Year, and Coach Nick was Coach of the Year. And in the past few years, Katie was Female Athlete of the Year, and so was Jasmine, and I was Coach of the Year. So they were teasing us at the event saying, how are we winning everything? These are some of the great pictures. We even got Mr. Bon Jovi on there. He's walking with us. We have our banner that was donated by the local police stations. We also have our beautiful tent that you were able to see us throughout all of the tents from the Highland Education Foundation. And it was great to see everyone's athletes, families, and friends. Everyone was there cheering each other on and supporting each other. We also, this is brand new, we're doing a Special Olympics equestrian team. So we wanted to share some of the pictures. The students and I have been going and working at a horse farm. And these are more of the pictures with the kids. They work there, they ride. There's Jasmine riding. We have Katie, Jonah, so they're working really hard. And our first Special Olympics equestrian competition is this summer in July. So that's a new venture we're doing. And then we also have the summer games. So we qualified if you won 2 or more gold medals at the Special Olympics Spring Games, you qualified for the state games. So almost our entire team was qualified for the state games. So we'll be competing on June 15th at Vassar. So we wanted to share some of our upcoming things. If any of you guys could come, that would be awesome. And we also, Cable 12 News, want to do interviews with us tomorrow. So keep your eyes out. You might see us on the news in the next couple of days. How do you guys feel? Happy?
Fantastic job, guys. So Ms. Up, again, with the equestrian, what you're going, so they're learning horse care, how to take care of horses,
Yes, all the aspects.
all aspects.
Yep, they're even in painting fences, cleaning stalls, brushing, riding, lawn care, everything. So we're working on different job skills as well as being able to work on the skills of actually riding and conditioning ourselves and making our core strong.
So similar to the Big Lots experience, that these are things that they, maybe they'll get a job after high school doing some of these things.
Yes,
That's fantastic.
We're looking at more career options.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. On behalf of the entire Board of Education, I want to congratulate our elementary school student of the month, our middle school student of the month, and our high school students of the month. And a thank you to Dominique, Coach Nick, for supporting our students and working with them throughout their career. Congratulations to all. Hopefully everyone could join them at Belfast College on June 14th and 15th to watch those 7 athletes compete. Thank you. Okay, we'll open the meeting now up to public comment. Again, we hope that the comments are structured in a way to be positive. And like I said earlier on, we normally, if we're entertaining comments that are not associated with the agenda in the first half, normally we do that on the back end of our meeting, but I will allow that to happen, but hopefully it's constructive criticism. Okay? So is there any public comment at this point?
Yes.
Please state your name and
Somebody who's really tall. Actually, there we go. Good evening, members of the board. My name is Adam Federa. I am a Marlboro resident. I came here just to speak to you guys on behalf of, as a parent. I'm a part of your community. My son plays lacrosse, and I just wanted to make you guys aware of something, and it's not bad. It's something that we'd like to work on, and we think there's a lot of opportunity, and we think all of you and people on our side could work together, and we could do some phenomenal things. So I'll get started, and I've been a Marlboro resident for about 28 years. I have an amazingly supportive wife. I have 2 strong, smart boys. My oldest son is a graduate of Marlboro Central Schools, and my youngest is currently a 6th grader in the district in Marlboro. 4 years ago, my younger son came home with a flyer from the Highland Lacrosse Club. We were excited since Hunter was not a fan of baseball, and we didn't have a sport in the springtime to play. Well, here I am 4 years later, having coached and met some of the most fantastic people along the way. My lacrosse family, as I've come to call them, have grown exponentially over the years. Like my lacrosse family, the game of lacrosse has been growing. I'm going to give you guys a few statistics. The data comes from U.S. Lacrosse, which is the governing body over lacrosse. Some of the data is a little, not old, but 2 years old. So on the youth level, back in 2006, there was a little over 220,000 active members in the U.S. Currently, there's and this is as of 2017, so I can only imagine it's actually bigger. It's 447,000. Those are pretty staggering numbers, and those are 2 years old, so I can only imagine they're even bigger. And there's a lot of room for growth. There are 3 major lacrosse teams, major league lacrosse teams. Colleges are growing. Utah's just recently got into D1, and New Paltz right around the corner. So I actually jumped into the hat, and you know, this game creates a lot of opportunity for a lot of kids. It's done a lot of good things for both sides, you know. And part of me being here tonight, folks, I'm not here to berate anyone or yell at anyone. I'm trying to bring people together. That's really my only purpose here. You know, I'm here as a parent. My son's been playing with these kids for about 4 years at the Highland lacrosse level. I know you guys are all aware of the modified situation, and I'm just here to speak on behalf of that. I know Marlboro is working on trying to get a team, but there is a part of me, as I've grown to love these kids, I would like to see them stay together. You know, I think at the varsity level, they've had a lot of good success there. And there's something special when you play with kids, you know, when they're together from the very younger ages as they get older, you know. I have spoken with our board in Marlboro, and they're willing to sit down and talk, if you guys are willing to do that. And if there's anything, you know, there's a lot of great Marlboro parents, and there's a lot of great Highland parents, and we all want to work together with you guys, and we want to make it happen, if it's possible. You know, I know I'm sure there's a lot of political tape there. You've got the Section 9, you have all sorts of things that could be problematic, and we understand that. You know, we're not looking for miracles. We're just advocating for the kids. That's really at the end of the day. And I came here tonight, you know, I hope, I've spoken with a few of you guys, and I look forward to possibly working with you guys if I can. You know, I know I'm an outsider, I'm a Marlboro resident, but I've spent the last 4 years treating a lot of great Highland kids like they were my own children, you know, and there's a part of me that's broken because in Marlboro, the few kids that actually played at the 7th and 8th grade level, we kept the 7-8 rec team going. And unfortunately, a few of them got absorbed into other sports. So I actually have some paperwork over there too with some college numbers and also the club numbers. And you'll see that the club is very even set on both sides. And what I mean by that is you have some years where there's on the Marlboro side maybe 6 and maybe 7 at the Highland level, and then lopsided another year. So you know, that's why I say, you know, if we lose kids at the 7-8 level, it's going to affect the varsity at some point. And also, you know, we're taking opportunity from kids, you know. And I know that's no one's intention. No one wants that, you know. And like I said, I'm here just to try to work with you guys. And, you know, I've had a great experience here in your town. Your town has been welcoming. You know, by the way, both school districts have been extremely supportive. And that's why I come here and say that, and I'm being as genuine as possible, whether it's when we use your gyms, your staff, that's the security guards have opened doors, just on all kinds of, everybody has been fantastic. And on the Marlboro side, they give us field space when we need it, when our field's swamped out. It is a great example of how two communities can come together and do an amazing thing. And it is such a big part of my life. And I just wanted to come here, like I said, I wanted to give you guys some paperwork. And I think there's a few other folks. I have a letter here from another mom. She couldn't make it tonight. She's from Highland. She gave me the letter. I could give it to you guys. I could read it, whatever you guys want me to do. Maybe for the sake of keeping the meeting going, I'll probably give it to you guys. We have a petition going. And like I said, if there's anything I can do or help advocate or anything, and I'm basically here, just want to work together with you guys, you know. I think it's a good partnership, you know, and thank you very much. That's it.
Hello, my name is John Palmer. Like Adam, I'm also a Marlboro Town Newburgh resident, but my children go to Marlboro schools. I've been involved in the program for 5 years. My biggest concern is we're at the point where the 7th and 8th graders that play on Highland Youth Lacrosse that are not Highland School District students aren't going to have a place to play. 2 years ago, the Youth League, we had approximately 19 different communities or towns that we could play with at the 7-8 level. This year we were down to 6. We were able to keep it together basically with duct tape, staples, and we had actually combined with another community that was struggling with numbers because all the districts are going to the modified program. And next year, talking with more and more programs, they're going to eliminate their 7-8 youth rec program because they're also going to modify. My biggest fear is there's a whole bunch of kids that have been playing since they were in kindergarten that they're not gonna have a place to play. And the last thing I wanna do is see kids not have that opportunity to play. As Adam mentioned, we did go to the Marlboro board and they wanted us to come here to ask you guys to please open up lines of communication. They're willing to talk, to try and see, can we come up with a solution that you can work together at the modified level so we don't lose kids, right? The last thing we want is kids not participating in athletics or any extracurricular activities. And this is just one example that if goes by the wayside, I can tell you right now, personally, next year, you know, Adam and I have been keeping that 7-8 program together, and we don't have a son on the team. We're doing it to try to keep the program alive, to allow kids to play. We were fortunate to get new kids out to play who never played before, which I thought was really tremendous on our part, and the part that they were willing to come and try and get out there not knowing what the future holds. And I just ask that if you can reach, pick up the phone. I know they're willing to talk, to try to come up with a solution. And my worry is if we wait and kick it down the road till the fall, nothing will happen, and we'll be back here next spring, and we're gonna lose a whole bunch of sixth, soon to be 7th graders and 8th graders that have been playing, they're no longer gonna be playing. And it's just gonna slowly just dissolve, and the trickle-down effect is the youth program here in Highland, whether you're a Highland resident, whether you're a Marlboro resident, or even a neighboring community to join us, parents are going to look at, well, why am I going to invest all the time through 6th grade? Well, then 7th and 8th, now they have no place to play, right? The youth program is going to slowly trickle away because they don't see the writing at the end of the tunnel. I can keep playing and keep playing. The programs are going to dissolve, and then you're going to have less and less kids participating in sport. So just once again, please consider opening those lines of communication with Marlboro and try to come up with a solution that we can keep everybody involved in the plan. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Desiree Michelle. I'm currently a resident of Marlboro. I'm here for the same reason Adam and John have kind of went over. My son's been part of the Highland Lacrosse Club now for a few years, as Marlboro currently does not have a team. I'm here tonight along with my son, some of the team players, coaches, friends, and fellow members, as we have been informed that Marlboro may not be welcome back to be part of the 7-8 team. What this means, of course, is that some of our boys will not have a team to play for next season. Once the boys heard the news, we were instantly bombarded with comments like, "Coach, I want us to all stay together and play together," and "Hey, why can't we be on the same team?" So of course, as a parent and as an assistant coach to the team, this was heartbreaking to hear, as well as to not have an answer to give them. Our motto here at the club is a simple one, yet powerful. One team, one family. That is exactly what we are, both on and off the field. From 6 days a week of lacrosse to the boys having sleepovers or barbecues at each other's houses. I feel we truly have defined what the meaning is to be a team, but also a family. Of course, our main goal here tonight is to keep our kids together, meaning both Highland and Marlboro would continue to play together as part of the same team. Some of these kids have been playing together for a few years now, and it would be a shame to see them have to split ways for a few years and lose that camaraderie they've built throughout the years. I think this club has ran successfully over the past few years due to both, Highland and Marlboro working together. With that being said, I'm reminded of an old saying, if it's not broke, do not fix it. Lacrosse continues to be a growing sport with endless possibilities and opportunities for our children as well as the community. I am not speaking on behalf of the entire club, but as a concerned parent of a lacrosse player who is in jeopardy of not having a team or an opportunity to do something he loves. So in closing, we're here as club members, friends, teammates, and family to say we'd like to keep our children together in this great program, and hope that others will see that need as well.
Anyone else for public comment? Okay, what I'm going to ask, we have some time, and I know our athletic director is here in the audience. We do not have to make a decision this evening. We have plenty of time to look at the numbers and then have additional meetings and have the conversation. I got 3 questions that hopefully both the group that came up and spoke a little while ago and our athletic director, in conjunction with Marlboro's athletic director, the 3 questions I would like to have answered would be the number of 7th and 8th grade Marlboro students that will be eligible for modified next year, the number of Highland 7th and 8th grade students that will be eligible for lacrosse next spring. And I'd also like to ask, can a high school program start at a modified level? Do they necessarily need a JV and varsity level to start the program? So we can get those questions. I think that would be something that the rest of the board would be able to look at and dissect and have the conversation. And from a personal standpoint, 2 things. I've been involved in youth sports for 40 years here in Highland. I've coached baseball, soccer, basketball, from T-ball all the way up through high school level. I've done that my entire life. I coached indoor travel soccer with my son, who was a pretty decent ball player. Back then when we coached with Marlboro students. I had 4 or 5 on the 10 squad team when we did indoor. They had a good relationship. Marlboro eventually developed a soccer program on their own. Those kids went to that soccer program. Those Highland kids broke that bond, but still kept the friendship and participated at their own high school level. And when Marlboro played Highland, there was a lot of interaction there between those players because they knew each other. But it can happen. I understand that. I know when lacrosse came to us about 5 years ago, I think we were sitting in the middle school gym when we made that decision. Then the decision was we would take on the Marlboro students to play lacrosse, and we would hope that they would be able to build their own program. 5 or 6 years later, we do have parents coming up again today to try to keep that momentum going. But at some point in time, you got to realize that that's going to break apart, and Marlboro's going to want to have to develop their own program. It happened in soccer quite a few years ago. I'm sure it's going to happen in lacrosse in the very near future. We're having an issue right now in our program here in Highland. We had no JV baseball team this year. So we had to put 9th graders on our varsity team. Our varsity team right now has won 2 games and lost 15 or 16, Mr. Alfonso. That doesn't build a program. So we're struggling on our end too to keep these kids playing. Some of those kids are losing interest because there's no JV squad. Why would they want to move up and play at the varsity level and lose every game? It doesn't build the program. So we're struggling on our end also. So I'm not here to say that this board is not going to accept bringing Marlboro students back into our modified program, but I am saying that at some point in time, it's got to happen where you've got to build your own program within and allow more kids to participate. I don't want to come into a situation where we have to cut Highland students because there's 12, I'm not going to use Marlboro, there's 12 New Paltz students that are better than our Highland students. So what happens to our boys or our girls at those levels? They're not able to participate in their own hometown. So those are the things that I think this board has to look at and digest and come to a decision And maybe it's for the best of both programs for a trial basis, but at some point in time, my opinion is we have to look to build within your own community and build those programs strong. If anyone else on the board would like to make a comment, I'm more than happy.
So, being a parent of two sons that play lacrosse, my sons have been playing since second, third, but for a long time. And so that bond that Adam talked about, John talked about, it's strong as far as the success that's at the high school level. I don't think there's any Marlboro parent that's talking about developing their own team because they've been so successful, they've been together forever. So I just think that there's some questions that never asked that have to be answered, but I don't think the Marlboro side is wanting to split, develop their own teams because, like I said, they've been together since day one, and that's why the teams are so strong the way they are. So I have to agree if you're assessing that they're going to split and we'll be left high and dry. And I think there's also ways too that we could also, if that becomes the case where having students become excluded, we could also look at ways if it becomes too many students, there's ways to look at that situation as well. But I think it's something worth exploring. As a parent again of two sons, I'm definitely feeling feeling what this program has done, and I can see a lot of potential for it in the future.
Anyone else? Is there anyone else in the audience that'd like to speak? I'll allow that. Yeah, you can come up.
Just clarification, you'd asked a question about how many Highland students would be eligible to play. Well, in theory, it'd be the entire student body. A more accurate question, I think, would be how many
I guess,
experienced Highland players do you have coming up
True.
the ranks? I think
That's in the program. That's in the travel program right now. Or currently a 7th grader that's on the modified team. How many would be eligible come spring of 2020?
that have had experience with the youth, because there's a big difference.
Well, I would say if a new 7th grader came into the program and was a decent athlete and he was chosen for the team, there's no say that he cannot be on that team.
Oh, I'm not saying, I'm just saying, we can provide you numbers with experienced players that have played. If you're
Has the
looking from that.
Marlboro Athletic Department ever canvassed the students in their school district to see who would want to start a modified program?
John, may I?
Yeah, you can answer that question.
So Marlboro currently right now is developing an intramurals program. They are looking to build, as you said, at some point there needs to be separation. There definitely is a bigger interest. Things have been building. What we're concerned about is, like this year, we had a lapse where there was the 5 Marlboro kids that didn't have the opportunity to pick up the stick. And like I was saying earlier, I have the numbers with the club. There are some years that are lopsided either way. And I'm concerned, not only, and I know it's easy to see through me, I'm trying to do right for my child and a bunch of great kids, but I also fear that at one point, if we don't work together or have that relationship, it could fail on both sides. It could, It's not to say it would. It's not to say it's going to. It's just, if you look, and I'll show you the paperwork, if you have 6 in Highland and 5 in Marlboro, if there's a gap somewhere, it could ultimately be detrimental if kids walk away or whatever, however you say it. But like I said, Marlboro is developing their program. My fear is there isn't enough. And I know the numbers on the modified team. I've been coaching a long time. I think there's 18, I think I was told, that signed up for the modified team. You can have successfully a team of 30. We could still develop, and I say we, I mean a JV program before we're busting out the seams, and then even at that point, split. Now, I don't know how flexible the section would be in those dealings. I don't understand those types of politics. But my thing is,
that's one of my questions.
Right.
Can you develop at the modified level?
But if we did do that at the modified, and then we did, someday we get through that point, like you said, why would we cut any child? We wouldn't have to do that. If we were over at 30 kids in one of these teams, or both teams, let's just say JV or modified and varsity had 30 each, you could literally take 10 from each and have a JV squad in the middle and relieve that pressure from both systems. And I think that's part of why I want this, because when you have lower numbers, as you said, you do put yourself in a situation to lose. And, you know, a team should be at least able to scrimmage themselves. I don't know if any of you have ever been to a Marist game, but they have 30, 40 kids on the sideline there. So there's a lot of room for growth for both our towns, you know. And I hope I kind of answered that a little bit better. So.
Mr. Alfonso, you'd like to say something?
Yeah, a couple things on the numbers. Right now, on the modified level, the boys completed their season. We had 18 7th and 8th graders on the roster. We had one 8th grader who tested up to be on the varsity. On the girls' side, we have 21 girls on the roster for 7th and 8th grade, and we had 2 girls that tested up to be on the varsity. A couple of things on the history of how to get to the point to merge. The section has the ultimate decision. We had a swimming merger at one point between Highland and Marlboro, and on the varsity level, on the boys' side, and they were pretty successful. And they were beating teams like Valley Central and Washingtonville. Roundout had one swimmer who was an elite swimmer that swam with Kingston. And we all merged, you know, those were 2 merged teams. Well, it came a point where the section decided that merger no longer existed. So what happened after that was Highland boys then had to shadow the Marlboro team. We lost some kids. Last year, Marlboro had 4 swimmers. We had 3. Since neither of us had 7, they let us merge. But it was 7 swimmers against Valley Central, Monroe, Woodbury, all the bigger schools. There's no guarantee that the merger will be approved. It is a year-to-year approval from Section 9, also with the 2 boards that are involved. My fear, this is my personal opinion, is if we end up developing a modified level, there's no guarantee that they are going to approve it. One of the things that's stated in the merger information, it's a 3-year trial basis. There's a host school and a merge school. It's a 3-year trial basis. After that 3 years, the section has the right to discontinue that merger. They haven't done it yet for the boys or the girls at the varsity level. So I don't know, you know, what their decision would be, if we had a modified merger, even if it would be approved at the sectional level. Obviously, if the 2 boards agree to that, then it will go to the section for them to make a decision. But the facts of the matter is, this year, being our first year, after our initial push to find who was interested, the second time we did it, we ended up having 19 boys participate in lacrosse, and we had 23 girls that participated in lacrosse from the middle school, 7th and 8th grade.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll get that information back. I guess, Frank, probably now the only question would be, will Section 9 allow a high school program to start at the modified level and build from there? I'm not sure if that...
It happens in some of the smaller districts in Sullivan County, where you have like a Livingston Manor, and those districts, they'll combine the 3 districts, but their enrollments are 50 kids per grade or even less than that.
Right.
Like I said, it's possible with the approval of the 2 boards in the section. But with that said, with our success on the boys' side, being a 4-time champion, and also with the girls the last 2 years of qualifying for sectionals above 500, there's a lot of questions that come up. No one has pulled the trigger yet to say no, but I'm telling you, it could happen any year.
Right, you're putting the best of both teams on the field, from both schools on the field at any given time. I understand that. Okay, so we'll keep the dialogue going. We'll get all the information for the board to have that discussion, and we'll move from there. Any other comments from the board? Thank you for coming out and expressing your concern. We appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to us.
No problem.
Or giving us that chance. There's a lot of, you know, as a parent, I really appreciate it. And like I said, tonight, us coming here we're not pointing fingers. We're not trying to say anyone did anything wrong. We're not.
Understood.
We just care about the kids. It's really, at the end of the day, we care about all the kids, so.
Understood, thank you. Okay, to move on with our meeting, acceptance of reports. Be it resolved, the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve and acknowledge and reviewing the following reports. Our Board of Ed meeting minutes, April 2nd and April 24th. Our attendance and enrollment report, April 2019. And our treasury report, April 2019. Can I have a motion, please? Motion by Ed, second by Camille. Discussion?
For the attendance enrollment, was there because I think there's usually 2 or 3 schedules in there, I only saw 1. So there's only the 1 each. Usually there's a few different. The original one. So I think we're just missing a few of the schedules.
On the attendance enrollment?
Yeah. So it looks like the revised file that was put out there only has the 1 report, whereas the original one, which I didn't get to see, had all of them.
So I can send it or put it back on. I don't have my computer, so I'm the revised one came in. So
That's fine. I'm
So
okay
you
with
want
adding it.
to hold that?
I'm okay as long as we just add it. I can look at it.
All right. Any other questions? All those in favor? Opposed? So carried. Under curriculum and instruction, our principal's report. Joel?
So we had quite a night last night at the elementary school. We had our annual wrap-up to Parents as Reading Partners. We had the ice cream social. But something new this year, we talked about it last month, the Clink representatives were there. So we did our big presentation where they handed us our trophy. So we have a certificate, which is now on display on top of our lobster trap in the front hallway. So I'm going to pass that around. And a trophy made from garbage. It's actually recycled cans. So this is a trophy that all of the top Clink schools got. So I'll pass this around and then I'll pick it up at the end of the night. So the kids were extremely excited last night. And the ice cream social, it's always a great hit. It's a great way to bring the community together. The field was packed. We had a beautiful evening. And so I have no updates to my report. We are doing science tomorrow as far as testing goes, and the ELA field test just arrived today, so we'll be doing that in the next couple of weeks.
You know, Joel, stuff like this is on display at DIA down in Beacon.
It is. My only concern,
This is great art.
the one can in there is an IPA can, and it's front and center in that box, so I may have to put like a little second place sticker or something over that corner, or the Husky symbol. You know, they just took cans and threw them in there, and would have been nice if they put like a water bottle or something in that one.
I think Mr. Miller donated the Mountain Dew can though.
So, Clink is still going on. We had 35 bags that were brought to the school yesterday. We made a mountain down in our arrival dismissal area, taped them all together, and then the kids all stood in front of that and got the picture with the Clink representative. The Clink car was there, so the kids were very excited about that. And then, most importantly, we were able to end that and open the ice cream social. There was a big cheer when I said the ice cream social was ready to go, and they all ran inside. So it was a great time, wonderful weather, and the Clink wall is down. Sort of sad. It kind of looks like the end of June when you clear the walls and everything. That whole front hallway, which was covered, is all cleared off today. So, any questions?
I wouldn't be too concerned about the IPA can. I mean, they have parents who are responsible, I'm sure. Kids have to clean up for them.
Okay, well, I didn't drink the stuff.
Oh, yeah, we're recycling. We're recycling.
There you go, we're recycling. Well, and they're quite honestly, a lot of the bags you could see through them, so you could see what was in the bags. And I kind of hid those inside of, we called it Clink Mountain. So we hid them inside so that they were not on display. But, all right. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
You don't want to keep it for a little while?
That's very impressive.
Good evening. I don't know if anybody's been by the school to see how the bike's going on.
Yeah, great.
It's really pretty exciting. I actually had a student, I came from some part of the building back to the main office, and there was a student there waiting to be dismissed, and it looked clearly like she was upset. I figured she was sick and going home, so I walked up to her and said, "Are you feeling okay?" And she said, "I'm fine." And then I looked at her and I go, "Something's wrong." She was really upset because she had to go home, and it was the first time she was going to be able to get outside on her bicycle. That's why she was upset. So it's turned into a great program for the kids. They love it. Tomorrow we're on the rail trail. So if the weather holds, we should be on the rail trail. And then the President's Challenge, we had our introduction to that for parents the other day. I put it in the report. This is the second year that we've been involved with SUNY Ulster. From the number of students that submit applications, 10 of them will be selected to be interviewed, and then 5 of those students will be selected to receive go through the process of the President's Challenge, which lasts for 4 years of high school, and then they receive their scholarship going to SUNY Ulster for 2 years. It's a great program to see these kids light up. Ms. Connors is working with them on their essays, and they're in and out of her office, and they're very excited. And to see them rise up to a new level, and they'll come in dressed well and perform well, and see the importance of taking those steps is just great to watch with kids. So, any questions? Okay, thank you.
Hello. I have 3 additions to the high school principal's report. Earlier today, 60 ninth grade students, along with 7 chaperones, went on our annual Intrepid field trip. The Intrepid Sea, Air, and Space Museum is dedicated to the exhibition and interpretation of history, science, and service as related to its home aboard the aircraft carrier the Intrepid, a National Historic Landmark. As our students explored the museum today, they were able to examine original artifacts, view historic video footage, and explore interactive exhibits. Secondly, our senior citizens prom was last Thursday evening right here in the cafeteria. More than 50 community members were in attendance. The theme was USO, and the evening was dedicated to the memory of our very own hometown hero, Ben Bragg. Fun was had by all who attended. Finally, last Friday, members of the Highland High School Concert Band participated in the Music in the Parks Festival. This was the second year they did so. At Westfield State University. That's all of New England participated. They performed 3 pieces for a panel of judges, and our concert band received the highest rating, superior. With that score, the band was awarded first place in Division A. In addition, our concert band was awarded overall Best High School Concert Band for all divisions. This is the second year in a row we have come in first place. It's the second year we've participated. That I know of, and it's the second year that we've come in first place in all possible categories. Congratulations to High School Band Director Dan Schott and our concert band for their well-deserved accomplishments. This one says High School Concert Band, 6 Flags, New England overall. And this one says a little smaller, but that's okay. High School Concert Band 1A, 6 Flags, New England, first place in our division. These will be in the main office for all visitors to see for the next few weeks. Then I'll give them back to Mr. Shaw to display in the bedroom.
That's great.
Yes, we're very proud.
Bill, how many competitors again?
I'm sorry?
How many competitors?
I don't know. I believe there are about 20 to 30 schools participate from all of New England.
That's great.
And yeah, it's quite an accomplishment. And the smaller trophies for the Division A, which is the smaller high schools, but just as impressively, best overall out of all the bands, even the larger high schools we received. So it's very exciting. So kudos to them. Thank you. Any questions? Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. Okay, director's report. We have some of our directors here, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Hunter, do we have any, is there any aim to bring some of these, I think I've asked this question before, or have we got any further to bring any of the out-of-district kids in district? Do we have that possibility at all?
We're constantly doing that. So we evaluate them throughout the year. We definitely take a look at it during annual review season, so we'll be planning for next year. Our numbers, when I started, were probably in the mid-40s of out of district, and currently we're sitting at 29. So we've slowly been bringing back some of those students, and we don't want to rush it to bring them back. We want to make sure that they're ready and the programs are fit for them. We do have a few students that are out of district this year that will be joining us next year. Sometimes it makes sense to do it in a transition year, whether it's from 8th to 9th grade, sometimes 5th to 6th, sometimes just when they're ready, and depending on the school, what programs we have that make sense for that kid. But yeah, we always take a look at it. We always want our kids here with us. So when we do send a kid out of district, we know it's difficult for the family and it's difficult for the student. So we don't do that lightly.
Any other questions? Mr. Miller, our Security Smart School program, how is that moving along? Are we going to be, we're planning to be up and running for September 1st or September 4th?
The high school camera system is up and running as it is now. They're finishing up some of the connections for the door controls and intrusion alarm stuff at the high school and the bus garage. And they've begun work at the middle school. So it's moving along. They slowed down a little bit, but I think we'll be fine.
Is there going to be a plan for orientation for staff to utilize the card access?
As soon as card access is available, we're going to start using it so that the administration and anybody that's here during the summertime gets to use it.
Mm-hmm.
The plan is to roll it out to the staff in September,
Okay.
and everybody will have that. At that time, the exterior keys will be changed out, so the only way to get in the building is with a swipe card or an RF card.
Right.
So that's our plan to be up and running and live in September.
And with our security cameras, are they going to be some remote monitoring stations? Like, I mean, is every office going to have screens to monitor?
Yes.
Okay.
We are also looking at, and we haven't figured out exactly how we're going to put the pieces together. That's a discussion as far as our security queues in the middle school and the elementary school, so that the security guys have access to that. But we're working on that piece.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Thank you, directors, for your reports, and thank you, building principals. Okay, approval of Committee on Special Education minutes. Be it resolved, the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, accept the recommendations of the Committee on Special Education according to the minutes of the CSE meetings of April 1st, 4th, 5th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 23rd, 24th, 29th, and 30th. Month of May 2nd and 8th, the CSE, the amendment agreement, no meetings, none to report currently. And CSE meeting, no meeting, transferred in month of May 7th. This committee authorizes the arrangement for such student special education programs and services. Can I have a motion, please? Motion by Tom, second by Ed. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Approval of Committee on Preschool Special Education. Be it resolved, the Board of Education hereby accepts the recommendations of this Committee on Preschool Special Education according to the minutes of the CPSC meetings of the month of excuse me. Wow. CPS amendment, no meeting, none to report currently. CPSC, no meeting, transfer in, none to report currently. This committee authorizes the arrangements for such students, special education programs, and services. Can I have a motion, please? Motion by Ed, second by Camille. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? So carried. Personnel. Do we have an objection to take personnel from A through H? Yeah, thank you. A through H? We're good? Okay, can I have a motion to take personnel as a block from A through H? If there's anyone that you want to pull out, we'll motion it separately. But right now, motion to take personnel as a block from A through H. Can I have a motion, please? Motion by Ed, second by Heather. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Okay, our student rep.
Okay, so the end of the year is usually a very busy time for the high school, so I chose a few things to talk about. So on Friday, May 10th, Ms. Triller took some of her art students to a donkey farm where they created an abstract painting. I believe it's displayed in the high school. A lot of students enjoyed that, hanging out with the donkeys and painting all day. It was pretty great. On Thursday, May 16th, there were 23 students from the French Club that visited both the United Nations building. They took a tour there with some members from the UN, and they went to see the musical King Kong. From what I heard from all the students, it was a great time. They learned a lot of information from the UN, and they absolutely loved it. That same day, the Interact Club helped with the senior citizen prom. We had about 17 students help volunteer. It was in honor of Mr. Bragg this year, and the theme was a night at the USO. I talked to the Interact students who volunteered, and they all had the same response of how much they loved hearing the stories from the attendees and dancing with them and just having a great time. And seeing how excited they got when they got to see some people that they knew that they might not see on a daily basis or on any type of regular basis. Everyone had a great time, both the students, volunteers, and the attendees. On Friday, May 17th, there were 49 students who traveled to the Met in New York City. The students learned about art history and used sculptures to reference different points in history. There were some students who even brought their sketchbooks to help develop their art skills. And then this past weekend in the Hamlet was Spring Fest. The Interact Club was present in helping with setup, cleanup, and running the Kids Corner. There was a significant amount of students who volunteered throughout the day. In addition to the student volunteers were there, in addition to the student volunteers, the HSA was there, and they were bringing awareness about bus safety, and I believe they were raising money for the backpack program as well, which was pretty great to see some other members of our community who came in on their time. The high school is also prepping for their field day this Thursday, and I look forward to telling you guys more about what takes place. This year, they have 2 food trucks coming, so that's a big addition to what we normally have. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, under business and operations, budget transfer be resolved, the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approves the following budget transfer for 2018-19 school year as presented to the board at this meeting. Budget number 10073 for $14,165. Can I have a motion, please? Motion by Tom, second by Camille. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Sarah.
Good evening, everyone.
As Chrissy was mentioning, the end of year brings all kinds of end of year activities, so we've been very busy the last couple of weeks. I'm just going to give you some of the highlights. One of the things, and I don't know if the board is aware or not, but a big milestone for me today is I observe every one of our non-tenured teachers. That's about 25 teachers right now, and so I just finished the last formal observation today, and it's a great opportunity for me to see our new staff, to look at what they're doing, and it helps me build a relationship with those teachers as well. So I'm glad we're done for this year, but I love being in the classroom, so that's a great opportunity for me. As Dan mentioned, we have the information night for the President's Challenge. There was a large number of students with their families there, so I'm excited to participate in the interview process next week. And moving that ahead, it was nice to see some parents of students that I had, their younger siblings coming through, so that was a very nice evening. And thank you to Patty Stephens, who translated for us as well that evening, so that all the parents could understand what the process was and what was involved in the President's Challenge. I also had the privilege to attend the final meeting of the new Administrator Mentor Program. They call it NAPS, which I don't know if it really represents the program really well, but both Ryan Judge and Dr. Jennifer Araka participated in a mentoring program through Ulster BOCES. They meet 4 or 5 times throughout the year for professional development and really career growth, and they finish off with a dinner at SUNY New Paltz. So it was great to be able to honor our new administrators and kick off the rest of their hopefully long stay in Highland. I was able to attend the middle school talent show a couple weeks ago now, I think. That was a great evening. It's always wonderful to see the hidden talents that our middle school students have. One of my favorites, and I'm not sure I didn't stay to see who won, because they were all so good. I didn't want to, but one that I really loved is there was a young girl doing tongue twisters, and I thought that was very fun. A very different kind of activity, but we had students performing pop songs. There was an act from the musical Hamilton. We had martial arts. There was all kinds of activities. It was really a great evening. And the thing, of course, for me, that's just the best part of it is our students in the audience were so supportive of their classmates, because of course that makes you very nervous to stand up in front of your classmates, your family and friends, and sing or do whatever it is to put yourself out there. And so I'm always very proud of how our students respond and support their classmates. I also attended the last mentor meeting for our new teachers. If you're not aware, there is a mentoring program at Highland. Each of our new teachers each year is assigned a mentor teacher, and they meet once a month for a meeting, as well as have time each week to meet together as a pair. And so the final meeting, of course, is a celebration of the end of their first year in Highland. It's always a great afternoon to really talk about their highs, what they like about Highland. We got to hear not only from the mentees, but also from the mentors. So it was a great way to finish out that first year. Other great activities, as Mr. Freer mentioned, the Clink activity last night was great, seeing all the students standing in front of Clink Mountain, or Mount Clink, or whatever we were calling it. They were very excited to be a part of that process, and of course, the 5th grade students who you met at our last month's meeting were very proud that they won the award, so that was really great. Kindergarten Alphabet Concert, a yearly fun event where students have learned a lot about the alphabet, and they have the opportunity to sing a few songs that they've learned, as well as talk about their own letter that they've learned. And then just a couple of things, if we have time before the polls close, please check out the district-wide art show that is in the chorus room down in the high school. We've talked about this and tried to do things various years, but I think this year we really brought it together so that you get a full picture of the development, the growth of our students' art from kindergarten all the way up to our high school students. So please take a few more minutes to look at that, and I really
a big thank you to our art department, Erica Babinar at the elementary school, Christina Osborne at the middle school, Beth Castellano and Lisa Driller at the high school. They really put in a lot of work and put together a nice show. And to invite anyone who might be around at 9:30 on Thursday morning is our annual Memorial Day ceremony at the high school. I think it'll be a little bit bittersweet not to have Mr. Bragg there to sing to us, but I hope that someone else will carry on that tradition. I know that we have a couple of different speakers. Again, one of the things that I enjoy most about it is having all of our students hopefully on the front lawn, if weather permits, but how respectful they are of the veterans that are there, as well as supportive of our students who choose to go into the military. So if you're around at all, please stop by. It's really a great activity. And then they move into their field day activities, which has also been a great success at the high school. So I think that's my focus. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. President. So I know that one of the things that we've been discussing in the almost 2 years I've been here at Highland is the graduation rate. So the graduation rates do go up and down a little bit, but in order to continue to make improvements, in order to continue to reach more students, we can't just keep doing the same things we're doing. We have to do something more to continue to improve. If you just do the same thing and expect improvement, you're not going to get it. So in conjunction, working with middle high school administration, also the school psychologists and guidance counselors, I have a draft copy here of a program which is based on a program that I had established in a previous district that was very successful. And this program is designed for a few things. One, so what you said, Mrs. Gilmore, we do have students that we send out of district just because we just don't have a placement for them. Some of those students would fit into this program. Secondly, we also have a lot of students who just for social and emotional reasons have difficulty integrating into a large group in a large setting and be in a classroom with 20 other students. Of course, we have students who are assigned to home instruction from a superintendent's hearing, students also on home instruction for other reasons, and then we have students who need credit recovery. So, for example, maybe someone who's in their senior year, they're in that fourth year, but they're short some credits. So, with the help of Ms. Kahn, who did a fantastic job designing the brochure, I'm going to just hand these out. Now, there's still some work to do. This is the first time really I'm bringing it up to the board. And there's a few minor contractual issues I need to hammer out. I have mentioned it to some of the unions already, but there's some things to discuss. But as you can see, this is called the ARCH program, the Highland ARCH program. ARCH, and you can see the arch there, and ARCH supports what that stands for: Alternative, Restorative, Collaborative High School, ARCH. And the idea is that sometimes when students go on home instruction, because we have to get home instructors, there sometimes is a slight lapse in the education, because we can't immediately get a home instructor necessarily. Also, we can't guarantee at the high school level that the home instructor is going to be highly certified in the thing that they're teaching, because you might have a math teacher teaching social studies and vice versa, depending on the teachers that we can get. So the idea, before we kind of look into the brochure, is that this is an alternative program that we host here at the high school. It is Monday through Thursday, 2:30 to 5:30 p.m. And this would be for most, but probably not all, but for most students, instead of being assigned to home instruction on the secondary level, they would be assigned to this ARCH program. So these would be our teachers here at the high school building after regular instruction is over. So if you open it up, you can see what the mission is. It's to educate and maintain the connection, because I've seen, in my years that sometimes if students are on home instruction for a long period of time, it's almost kind of like out of sight, out of mind. You kind of forget about that student, and they lose their connection to the school. We will utilize for the students, certainly those students assigned because of a superintendent's hearing, will incorporate restorative practices. So that's the idea that if a student is suspended for a long period of time, depending on the infraction, that a program would be developed for them so that they're not just out and suspended for a calendar year, let's say, that during that time, perhaps they do a research project based on maybe what their infraction was. And they do perhaps presentations to either the staff or even other students to basically earn their way out of the suspension earlier than what the original penalty was. And in this way, it's a lesson learned. Again, the ARC staff, this would be, the costs. Initially, it sounds like, well, this is going to cost a lot of money. But remember, this is a contractual amount, so to home instruct a student at the high school, it's $400 a week. It's $40 an hour, and we do 10 hours a week. That is what is required. And again, that's one student for one teacher. So this would be the idea that you'd have one teacher, but you'd have multiple students in the classroom. So you'd be doing, so ultimately, it would probably come out to about the same, because there will be some increased costs, because we're also going to be providing, if you look over to the schedule. Again, similar to a very successful program I've had in the past. So there would be counseling built into the program for those, especially those students that need it. So you can see Monday, they would have counseling, either individual or group, and then they do English, grade specific. Tuesday, they would do phys ed and math. Wednesday, they would do an elective, perhaps either art or technology. And then science, and Thursday they do phys ed and social studies. So the phys ed, you need to keep up on your phys ed credits. You cannot fall behind on phys ed credits. That's why you have the phys ed there twice a week. And then just your 4 major subjects. Students who perhaps are in some higher level courses, we would work that out on a student by student basis. Again, I would look into providing transportation for this, so we've kind of looked at it a little cursory, and that we could do some centralized runs, and we would have the staff available to make some centralized pickups and centralized drop-offs at the end of the day. So again, the idea is that we're providing opportunities, so this would be opportunities for students who have fallen behind on credits to give them more support. They would have the teachers here at the high school, their teachers, for any subject areas that we couldn't fill with our own teachers, then we would certainly advertise it out to outside individuals who are certified teachers. But again, I'm pretty confident that this is much easier also for the teachers themselves, because now they have to, we have kind of a regular group of teachers usually who do provide home instruction. That's after school hours, they have to arrange a place and a time. Sometimes they use a library, sometimes they do go to students' home. That can be sometimes not the most comfortable situation going to students' home. This would be right here in the building, in their classroom, with all their materials. We would have to have an administrator on duty though. That's where there's still some contractual discussions, because this would be keeping the administrators beyond kind of what I would consider a typical day, and we'd be adding duties to them. So so again, credit recovery, you'd have perhaps students who have social issues, who maybe some of them do go to an outside placement who, because this would be a much smaller setting, we could service those students here. Again, this has been, it's a different take on a successful model that I've done in the past. So I'm just kind of proposing the idea this year. But we would basically use the same monies that we have already set aside for home instruction. They would just be put towards this program. So basically we're doing our home instruction here in the building. Again, I've seen many times that unfortunately when students go on home instruction, I mean, they do very well, but socially and emotionally, they're not getting that support. This keeps their connection with the school itself, with the school community, and gives them, it's more efficient.
What would be the criteria for credit recovery? How would they fall into that category?
So we would, look at those students who, because I'm sure we have students now, this would be kind of looking at to help improve our graduation rate. So we have students who, we know usually by even sophomore year, but certainly by junior year, we know their students who they're just not going to be able to fit everything that they need because they've had to repeat classes too many times. So perhaps if they don't have room in their schedule senior year for, let's say, economics and government, that would be a very easy fit into this after-school program, because that's a very, I've done it myself. You can very easily teach both economics and government in the same room. It's individualized instruction. So instead of just saying, so this is a full year program, so at times, and the numbers fluctuate. So obviously, at the beginning of the year, usually no one in the program. It's just like at the beginning of the year, you have either no one or very few people in home instruction. But once it starts going, I picture anywhere from, it's going to start one-on-one, there'll be maybe one or two students in a class, but I can envision this getting to, 5 or 10 kids in a class at a time. So instead of paying 10 different people to teach 10 kids, you're paying one person to teach 10 kids.
So Tom, the criteria is students that are on.
So it would be open to students on out-of-school suspension, students who, again, either socially, emotionally, just can't handle a school day. Right now, I'm sure that we have a small number of middle and high school students who need a lot of support and have difficulty getting through an 8-period day without getting into some sort of mischief. Where on a smaller scale, they don't have those same issues. So it would be open up to those students also. And again, they would be going to counseling twice a week, either individual or group, depending on what the issue is. So they can work. Because right now, when a student goes on home instruction, especially on a superintendent's hearing, we don't provide and can't provide counseling. So depending on what the infraction is, unless the family's bringing the counseling, they're not getting any counseling. So I feel we need to give those students that support, so for whatever they did, they can kind of see they can learn ways to cope differently so they don't fall down into those traps.
But they would have to qualify to come back, correct?
Yeah, so again, we would set up a kind of an individualized plan for each student. So, if a student, did whatever infraction was and they were out on a superintendent's hearing, so that might involve their criteria, and if they got a year, perhaps they could earn their way back sooner than a year. I'm not talking, it would be maybe half a year. So it wouldn't be, they'd be right back, but they would, it would involve successful counseling, that they've been cooperating and working with the counseling. Like I said, I'm envisioning some sort of kind of individual project and research into whatever the reason they did, and that they would present that either to, to make it, that's authentic assessment, that you're making it a real life experience for the person. Because though I do believe in strict discipline, I have no issue bringing the hammer down. That doesn't address all the issues.
No, but students having issues or problems in normal school day, and it rose to the level of somehow getting an out-of-school suspension, or however period of time it was, bringing them back into the school community at any level, at any point. There could be other students here that they don't get along with.
Sure.
Is there going to be a wing of the school dedicated to that? Is it going to be an isolation?
So this would be, again, this is after hours, this is 2:30 to 5:30, and it would be, our goal is to, my previous program, it was isolated to a particular area of the building. So that's something we would work out. You really would only need one classroom. The other program was a little bigger than I had, but really it's one classroom and the gym. But you can do PE in a lot of different places. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the gymnasium. There's just walking, then you have the weight room, you have all sorts of things that our phys ed teachers are doing now. But there would be that physical separation most likely. The only exception to that perhaps would be science. When you have to do a science lab, you might have to travel to a science room.
In this school atmosphere would not trump any kind of a order protection or anything like that?
No, not at all.
From an outside lead, court or anything?
Right.
It would not?
It would not. It wouldn't trump
It
anything.
wouldn't create a predicament?
No.
Okay.
I just have a quick question for you. So you said it's all after school, but teachers stay after until 2:45 when they have clubs. So I was just wondering how, because I know most of the teachers that stay and are doing activities with their students are the ones that are probably going to be running the classes for your program. So I was just wondering what you would do with those students for the 15 minutes that they have with the activity period at the end of the day versus when the students who are coming back and being integrated into the school again when they start their classes.
Right, so that's when I said there's contractual issues that still need to work out. That was one of them. Thank you, Chris. Very diligent.
Thomas, as you said, to keep doing things the same way and expecting different results, I think this is a really good, solid plan. I just try to picture myself as a student who gets themselves in trouble. And one of the worst things and the worst feelings you can have is, okay, being isolated at home, now you're no longer part of the community. I would think it just makes a bad situation even worse. And if maybe we could recognize problems, potential problems sooner, but having them as still part of the school community where we're still embracing them, I think this has a lot of potential.
Right, so again, I ran a program like this for 17 years. This is tweaked to make it Highland, but it works. Again, nothing's going to work for all students, but you will, I strongly believe that you will save more students. You'll grab more students. So there's some things that still need to work out that I'll discuss with the board in a future executive session, just to kind of how we would work out some of the kinks with the timing and the pay. But this is something that we would like to pilot in September for the first semester to see, how the program runs here at Highland.
I think it's very exciting. I think it's a wonderful direction to head in. I think you're of course going to have the exception where a student is non-compliant with this, you're gonna have to figure out?
Yes, there will still be home instruction. Even with an arch program in my past life, we still had home instruction. Yes. But just a lot less of it. There was a lot less individual home instruction.
I think it's a great idea with the convention at school. Often, like you said, students say they're out of school, whether it's anxiety or discipline, they come back and then they're not successful in coming back. So I think it's a great idea.
Thank you. Yeah, and it can be, even to sometimes to transition a student back from an outside. So sometimes we have students in an outside placement where there's a lot of support, and then we want to. They're done with that program. They're just going from one program directly back into something that they can't handle because that's why they were at that program. So this is also can be a transitional program for some of those students also. So it has a lot of different potential.
Transportation, would that be using our forces or?
That would be using our forces, yes. So we're looking at that the time should work out that if that we should have people that they be picked up, kind of a centralized run before so they'd be kind of dropped off when those high school buses come for dismissal. Those students would come here to the cafeteria or some of the location, be monitored by a monitor until everyone else leaves. And then at the end of the day, again, a centralized drop-off. That's if they need the transportation.
All right, so
just something to, we'll discuss it further. I'll probably have a little bit more information for you in executive session in June, at the 11th meeting, just to talk a little bit about some of the contractual things I just need to work out.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you.
All right. Under Board of Education, new business, first reading for two policies. The first policy is 7131, education of students in temporary housing. Does everybody have an opportunity to read all 14 pages?
That's now, boy, it's been a while that we've read that. How many homeless, how many children do we have now that are defined as homeless?
I have to check with Elizabeth, but I think the last number that I heard was in the mid-40s.
Mid-40s? Oh, goodness.
But that's students that, throughout the year, so there may be students that were temporarily housed in the fall that have since been permanently housed. So, say it's somewhat fluid throughout the year, but as soon as a student does get a designation, the designation does run throughout the school year, and then would potentially reset come July 1. So beginning of July, I work with Elizabeth to start to try to find out where, if we're not sure where some of these students are, if they've been permanently housed, or if they're still in temporary housing.
Within these policies, there's a tremendous amount of responsibility that I think falls mainly on your shoulders, and I can't even picture.
Thank you.
He does an excellent job as our homeless liaison.
It is just, I couldn't picture how you are able to do this.
Yeah.
Elizabeth
I
does
was just saying.
Elizabeth does a great job of, meeting with some of those families and trying to coordinate services, but it is a lot of work.
Yeah, just the interaction that's
Kathy,
required.
with the transportation is probably one of the biggest hurdles with that, because some of these students can be placed pretty far away, and so we're navigating, early morning bus trips and students that are arriving a little bit early, and then looking at students that may not have eaten that morning and trying to coordinate with timing with breakfast. So it takes a lot of hands to really work together to make sure that we try to keep that student coming consistently.
This policy was last adopted in February of 2017. Is it because the regulations changed, it's updated?
So as
Do we
part of
highlight
our,
the updates?
as part of our ESSA-funded programs desk review, it was like our Title I audit. So we had 25 indicators, and 22 of them came back compliant. So there was 3 that did. One was our McKinney-Vento, our temporary house students. One was our Title I parent and family engagement policy, And then another one was some where they were just asking for some more information about summer meetings from last year. These programs are kind of consistently being updated, and these policies with some of the changes. So this was as a response to the audit. This was something that they said, you need to update this policy.
So it has been updated, this policy, it's in front of us for the first reading.
That's the one that should reflect the newest regulations regarding it, yes.
And it has been reviewed by our council.
Okay. Do you want to have the opportunity to read through it, a little bit more? Well, I'm not sure that will help, but you can read through it.
For that first policy, I noticed the second policy was reviewed by legal, but I didn't note that the first policy was.
Second, well, that.
They both have been. They were both.
So
It
that
just
would
wasn't,
be-
it wasn't initial, I didn't see
Okay.
that, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so under the,
The second policy, 8290, was reviewed by legal back on, actually, last week.
yeah, they're both the same date.
Okay.
They were done at the same time.
Both at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, just make
One
sure
had,
that
one
they're
had
on
the
there.
initial on the other.
Got it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, do you want to hold both policies for second reading?
Yes.
Okay. We'll hold both policies for second reading.
I just had a question. With the second policy, the family engagement, it mentions an evaluation. Was that something that was added, or was that previously in the old policy? It's bullet point D on the first page. An annual evaluation of the content and effectiveness of the parent and family engagement policy.
That's newer. So one of the big pushes with the change in the policy is trying to get more engagement from families. They even, when our first policy was in, it was called parent involvement, and that was one of the first things that they came back. They said we want to see it called parent engagement. So what they want us to look at is, are we being successful reaching these parents, getting them involved? So some of that's looking at, our attendance at the family engagement night that we hold in October, or looking at other ways that, are we meeting those parents? Are we getting them in? Are we contacting them?
That was going to be my comment, is all the requirements you have, the responsibilities to the parents, the interaction with parents.
It's really shifted to a
Yeah.
lot on us to really do a lot of outreach to get to some of these parents.
Right, right.
Okay, so we'll hold that for our next meeting for second reading.
Just real quick, if as you're doing the reading and you have questions, if you can email those to us, and that way we can have answers for you that
Is
evening.
it possible to redline the changes or not?
I'll look, but I think we kind of completely rewrote it. I think.
So the whole thing.
Am I accurate?
It's a pretty big shift. It wasn't,
Okay.
a tweak from the last policy. It was a
All
big
right.
change.
But we could send you
If
a copy of
it's
the old one. if that-
majority, that's, yeah.
Okay.
The old one should be,
In your policy.
Okay. So we'll hold it for second reading. Any old business? Anything for the good welfare of the district? I'll open the meeting up to public comment.
I'll stay until the end.
Everything back to you.
Okay, motion to adjourn. Is there a need for executive session?
Can we go into executive session for employment?
You want to have it?
Yeah. my-
So we have 10 minutes. I don't think we'll have time.
If we can do it another time.
We could do, did everyone staying for the vote? Do you object to coming back for,
Art show.
object to coming back for 10 minutes? All right, so we'll have an executive session right after we read all the absentee ballots. Can I have a motion to adjourn, please? Motion by Ed, second by Camille, all in favor? Aye.